young guy in his 20s in Jharkhand, he must be able to dream of a quality of life that a privileged guy in South Bombay can get. AI continue to get better and better. There is a huge threat now looming over India. Very interesting and very important subject that concerns so many millions of Indians today. You became MP at the age of 28. That's very rare. Did you always want to serve in politics? Many times we don't take the first step towards a challenge thinking we cannot do it. Every year, literally crores of rupees is saved by people of my constituency. We are generally busy but not productive. Right. Consistency is more important than the intensity of the work that you do. India needs thousands of entrepreneurs and leaders like you. That's the only way to literally lift this country out of poverty. In 8.5 years, we have not been able to complete 2.5 kilometers of flyover. How do we address traffic? The only way. Tejasvi, welcome to Sparx. I've been waiting for this conversation for a long period of time. I have to start by saying, you are obviously quite an inspiration, I think, for not only for the youth of the country, for the country at large. You became MP at the age of 28, if I'm not mistaken. That's very rare. I don't know if I should have checked my facts, whether it is the youngest MP ever, but definitely, it's... So the question I want to ask you there is, did you always want to serve in politics? I know you started very early. You started contributing, from your high school days, and very inspiring stories of the effort you did during Kargil War and so on. But क्या thought process था, आपका in your teenage years, in early 20s से कि देश के लिए काम करना है politics में जाके? Mukesh, thank you for having me, and I have been following your podcast and of course your work. इतने साल से आप जो कर रहे हैं entrepreneurship में और इस field में, it is so inspiring. And India needs literally thousands of entrepreneurs and leaders like you. That's the only way to literally lift this country out of poverty and give it a momentum of the growth and prosperity that we are witnessing. At home, I was too much to handle for my mother, so she would she took me to Ramakrishna Ashram on and put me to Balak Sangha on Sunday. So there was this. Sunday, 1 day, full day workshop that Ramakrishna Ashram would organize. So that's where I got exposed to Swami Vivekananda's writings, his teachings, his speeches. I think that left an indelible impression on me. That was when I was in, 5th, 6th, 7th standard, around that time. And I think that actually gave me the motivation to actually think of life as a mission that is beyond just yourself and actually live for a bigger purpose. And then the first election that I contested was in school when I was in a 6th standard, school head boy, assistant head boy and things like that. But I think 2013 and 2014, around that 1.5, 2 years was actually a very important turning point in my life, because that was a time when you were old enough to take some action on your thoughts, and that was also when Narendra Modi ji was appointed as the Prime Minister candidate of the BJP. Here in Bangalore, a group of us youngsters, we felt that India needs a leader like him, that for very a long time Indian politics has not got the kind of leadership that it deserves. And Modi ji ticked all of these boxes, for an aspirational India. He was a man of integrity. He was a man of bold ideas. He had a proven track record of having delivered on things in Gujarat. So just 5-6 of us came together in over a coffee shop, mostly like that's how it's in Bangalore. Yeah. Most of the ideas get germinated there. So we started, an initiative to go college to college, places to places, organize programs to educate people about PM Modi's work and just to campaign for him. This was not an official campaign. This was not authorized by the party. We just, group of youngsters felt that the country needs a leadership like him, and we started working for him. And this I did, that 1.5 years period, Mukesh, I have traveled
almost every taluk of Karnataka, just going and convincing people, talking to them, small crowds, large crowds, just trying to talk to them about the need for a strong political leadership.
और ये आपका अपना खुद का इनिशिएटिव था मतलब?
खुद का इनिशिएटिव था. हम अपने पैसे जेब से पैसे डाल के जाते थे, and there would be, and organizers also were like us. Some young people in some taluk, they would call, come together. There would be small gatherings of 50, 100 people, and I would take 8-hour bus journey, 7-hour bus journey just to go and talk to 100, 200 people. But it just was, we just got a sense of purpose that, we are doing something for the country, and if we get a leader like, Modi, the country will change. So that was the, vanilla pure intention. And like,
इसमें ना काफ़ी पावरफुल लेसन है. मैं एज ए एंटरप्रेन्योर ऑल्सो रिलेट टू कि काफ़ी टाइम लोग ना परमिशन का वेट करते हैं कि मेरे को अथॉरिटी दीजिए तब मैं काम करूंगा. खुद से इनिशिएटिव लेके आप काम करना चालू करो, एंड एकला चलो रे वाला स्पिरिट. This is very inspiring that you just
to be honest, when we started this, we had never interacted with Modi ji. He was in Gujarat, and he was CM of Gujarat.
Right.
We were here, boys in 20, 21, 22 type of age, and here in Bangalore. But we just felt that, we had to do something. We were not even in the BJP. We had not even been authorized to do it. We just felt the country needs a leader like him. 5-6 of us got together. We would make Facebook lives. We would ask somebody to rent their auditoriums or, terrace, if they had a big terrace, gather some 25-30 people, start some activity. And this became like a wildfire all across Karnataka. And I traveled everywhere. Sometimes the organizers, they were all of our age. They would, organize some events. They would take care of the transport expenses. Sometimes we would ourselves, bear the transport expenses. And
तो आपको वैसा चैलेंज नहीं था कि जॉब का प्रेशर, करियर का प्रेशर क्या करना है?
At that time it was, because 2013 is when last year of college I just passed out, and because I was in law, I was already, it was a 5-year course. My friends were all in 4-year courses, engineering mostly in Bangalore. So I was already delayed into entering the job market by 1 year. And I had got placed in a couple of places, and I didn't take that up, and I was doing this full time, going around town to town, taluk to taluk, just making, speeches and programs for Modi ji. My mother was really, concerned at that time. So she was like, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
But I told that, the idea is to contribute to make Modi ji PM. And after that, I'm going to get back to my law practice and everything. That's what I did. 2014, Modi ji became Prime Minister. I still remember a group of volunteers who were working here. We all made a journey to Delhi. In fact, we didn't even have money to take return flights back to Bangalore from Delhi. We all came by train. So we all went to Delhi. Somehow we collected passes in Delhi from MPs and people who we knew to attend Modi ji's swearing in ceremony in Rashtrapati Bhavan. I still have the photograph of all of us in the last, somewhere in that Rashtrapati Bhavan swearing in program, taking that selfie. We all felt so happy that, our purpose of having done this, is actually achieved. And we came back. And then I started going to law office. There were some, contacts that were there. I joined a senior here. I went back to practicing law. And then, I joined the BJP. I did all kinds of work in the party for so many years. I was in the youth wing. I was doing social media for the party. I was a lawyer for the party for some time. Whatever work would come, I was doing. Because I never thought that there would be an opportunity that would come up to contest, and that too at a young age. But I can tell you one thing, Mukesh, because I have seen politics from close. Even today, the very nature of politics is such that there is many variables than constants and controllables. And even today, the amount of money, the amount of, variables like caste, permutations, combinations, all of these things that are there is very difficult for a young person coming from a normal political family to actually dream of this as a career. I would not be here as a member of parliament if it was not for Narendra Modi actually believing that young people should be given an opportunity and making available opportunities for us.
So, आपके journey से for the you in many ways have a voice which represent youth of the country, And a lot of people in the country today, now we are fortunate to be, thanks to, last 10 years of work as well. Like we are very ambitious as a country. We dream big. We want to be, move towards, Viksit Bharat in 2047 and so on. So for a youngster growing up and who wants to contribute, like what can they learn from your journey of last 10 years? Okay, what advice you will give to someone who is 20 or 25-year-old कि अगर आप देश के लिए कुछ करना चाहते हो तो यहाँ से start करो.
Great question, Mukesh. One, first recognize that we are at this unique point in time in India's history where it's amazing to be young, to be in this productive age group at this point in time in India's history. The opportunities are immense. And if you have an idea, if you want to set out to do something, you have an ecosystem, the world, to actually support you to make it happen. So first, recognize that. Second, I think the last 10 years, 6 years in politics as an elected representative, and before that as a young activist trying to do all of these things, I would go back to what you said. If you actually feel deep down inside that a particular issue or an idea or an initiative is actually going to make a difference, and if you don't have any ulterior or malicious agendas other than that, please pursue it with all of your heart. The world will come to support you. I'm not saying that the journey is going to be easy. Mukesh, there was a point in time when, nothing went in my way. Okay? And I still remember it was around 2017 or late 2017. Nothing was going my way. I felt so lost. And I had taken a 14-day solo trip to Bhutan, just riding. I went to Siliguri. I hired a bike and I just started driving in Bhutan solo, just to understand and figure out my life.
What I know, allow करते हैं solo drive करना, वो एक they assign ना that one guy to follow you. At least
तब तो it was not like that, but and that actually helped me compose, myself, because I think every youngster goes through this journey of trying to find oneself and all of that.
Who was your support system at that time? आप किससे बात करते थे?
My parents, of course. My father has been a very, important factor in my life. He's been always there to guide me. But there are always sometimes, Mukesh, there are certain issues that you cannot discuss with anybody.
Of course,
I think every single human being, every single, boy, girl, man, we go through certain challenges, certain battles that you have to fight yourself in your own mind. And that is what actually steals you up. That is what actually makes you who you are.
So let's just go back to that 14-day solo trip. Was it clarifying for you? Like कुछ आपको clarity आई थी और conviction about your ideas और किसके बाद आगे क्या करना है?
Yes, it actually gave me a sense of refinding yourself. Sometimes it's like this. Whenever you get confused, maybe you can go back to the first day when you set out to do a few things. It helps you understand why you set out to do something.
Purpose क्या था?
Purpose क्या था? Because the first day you try to set up a company, you would have started it with vanilla pure intentions. You would have started with a sense of idealism, a sense of hope. And then through the course of journey, you would have come facing many obstacles. Some things would have worked in your favor. Some things would have been a challenge. But then if you want clarity, if you want to go back to understand, okay, on the first day, what was my thinking? What you call founder's mentality, right? It helps you arrive at a lot of answers to your questions. So I think that 14-day journey helped me. So my point is, the second learning is, if you feel that you want to do something good, something, a larger initiative, larger purpose, just do it. And the universe will actually come to help you. Because, I never thought, Mukesh, that I would actually get an opportunity to contest elections at a young age. I would be given an opportunity. It was never there. I just kept doing my work. Third, I would tell you is this. Many a times, we always try to focus on, tomorrow, if I get this opportunity, what I will do.
Correct.
We will not be thinking of what is already in my hand and what I can do today to make it better. So one thing as a rule that I have applied in my life is, what opportunity I have today, what responsibility I have today, that I will try to do with my 100%. Tomorrow, kya hoga, kya aega, that is not in my hands. This is, I think, these three things I have continuously, tried to tell myself.
This is profound lesson. I will almost say कि जो लोग इसको सुन रहे होंगे इस podcast को, अभी pause करके थोड़ा reflect on this and then continue, because this can really change people's life. This is Tejasvi also reminded me of a couple of things I've seen in my career. Like एक तो company के अंदर जैसे कंपनी बड़ी होती रहती है तो लोग कंप्लेन करना शुरू कर देते हैं. एंड व्हाट आई हैव सीन कि कुछ लोग खुद से इनिशिएट लेते हैं कि ये प्रॉब्लम है तो मैं इसके लिए कुछ करता हूँ. समटाइम्स इफेक्टिव, समटाइम्स नॉट, बट दोज आर पीपल हु stand out, who get more promotion, more empowerment. Second thing, to your point about if you're really passionate about something, doing something. So one of the things I sometimes somebody will come and ask me ki, how to become a CEO of a company. I say very easy. You resign today, go to Printo, put your name, print a business card saying Mukesh Bansal CEO. That's how I started, one fine day. Correct. And then, you start on journey, eventually, you can grow into that versus, to your point, कि waiting कि एक दिन कोई मुझे appoint करेगा, so then I will do, my grand work of my life and so on, right? I think it's resonating very deeply with me. I'll come to your work in a minute, Tejasvi, but you've also been, very staunch, fitness, enthusiast. You've been, last time also we met, we mostly talked about fitness. I think last year you did, half Ironman or full Ironman, but you trained very
Ironman 70.3, yeah.
Yeah. Just how did that whole journey start? And also, you're obviously you're quite committed. I know you work incredible hours. Just this morning you're flying back from Delhi from the parliament session. So fitness ke liye, what is the importance of fitness in your life? How do you find time and how do you maintain your fitness journey with so much hectic travel?
Well, first of all, I was not a very athletic or a very sports-oriented kid back in school. But again, the inspiration for Ironman in particular, or to, physical fitness in general, was again Vivekananda's one particular quote. Yeah. There is one quote of Vivekananda that I always, that had captured my imagination when I was very young and reading him. He had described how he sees or he wants an ideal young Indian to be. Okay? He says, I want young men to have muscles of iron, nerves of steel, and a mind as sharp as the thunderbolt.
Wow.
And I think that kind of captured an aspiration of this is how I should be. Your mind should be sharp. You should also have nerves of steel that you are capable to, withstand stress, challenges, etc. And muscles of iron. Physically, you must be strong. This kind of captured the aspiration for me. And last year, a friend of mine inspired me that, even you can do this. Many times, Mukesh, we don't take the first step towards a particular goal or challenge, thinking we cannot do it. And when you, in your mind, give up the idea that you can't do it, you won't even start. So the first step starts with you saying, okay, I can do this. And then everything falls in place. So a friend of mine called Shreyas, he inspired me and told me that you can do it. And then, we started training and slowly, step by step, things started working out. And then, I learned this very simply, that if you are a working professional, you have a busy day, you can do an Ironman 70.3 with about 6 to 7 months of dedicated training, about 7 to 8 hours of training every week, which is not very hard.
Yeah.
You just have to take out 1 hour to 1.5 hours per day. Consistency is more important than the intensity of the work that you do. And this is a lesson for life also. Somebody who shows up every day, somebody who does a little work every day, I think, the beauty of compounding results is something that applies in every field of life. So that's what I did. It was difficult to train because of the nature of my work. There are days when, Mukesh, I would wake up at 4 in the morning, 4:30 I would leave home. I would take the 6 o'clock flight to Delhi, land at 8:30, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 10:15 I would swim at, Talkotura. I would then leave to, meetings, parliament, finish the day. 6 o'clock I would go to Nehru Park. I would do a 1 hour run. 7:30 I would leave from there, take the 9 o'clock flight to Bangalore, come here at 11:30, reach home at 12. Next day morning at 6 o'clock, I would be again at the gym doing some strength and conditioning or some other workout. I would always carry a pair of shoes with me. I have ran everywhere. Wherever I had some work, I have ran in Jharkhand, I have ran in Bihar, I have ran Goa, I have ran Rajasthan. Whenever it's possible, I would try to make some time and I would do some training. But that entire journey, 5-6 months, it taught me many lessons. One, of course, was consistency. Two was you start realizing how much time you actually have. When you have a very packed day, then you realize how much more you can do. Otherwise, we are generally busy but not productive.
That's right.
That was a second lesson. Third, you will assume that when you are waking up at 4 and doing this entire thing through the day, you must be exhausted. But while I was doing this, I was more energetic.
Correct.
So I think these three were great lessons. And of course, my blood works changed, my fitness markers and everything changed. And I think a young nation like us should definitely be a healthy nation, because this kind of sets the culture of how the nation will age in the next 25-30 years. Whenever I interact with young people from Australia, diplomats from Australia and countries like this, they have a very committed outdoor and a fitness culture. I think that is something that is really inspiring. If that culture is adopted here in India, it's going to do a great amount of good for our young people.
Yeah, I almost say कि वो if वाला choice ही नहीं है, ये मतलब करना ही पड़ेगा. Because with the modern lifestyle and so on, I think you're making many powerful, profound, points, Tejasvi. One is, the spirit of Vivekananda, him realizing 150 years ago that training your body and mind and, this nerves of steel is so important. I think the point you're making is fitness में 1 घंटा आप invest करते हैं, I think you get more than 1 hour back in terms of productivity. Because पूरे दिन आपका focus better होता है, energy better होता है. You realize, exactly what you're saying, कि day is very long. We don't realize, we have 16 hours. So much can happen if we are really on top of this. Also want to mention, including our Prime Minister, he has talked about yoga non-stop, since he came in power, which is also very important. But I think as a country, we need to talk a lot more about fitness. I mean, fitness.
No, not just that. You think about it. The kind of things. We spoke about culture, Mukesh, about how to make India a sporting, institutionalized sporting culture in the country. The PM has been trying to do this. Yoga day at an international level is one. When was the last time you saw any head of state, asking people to reduce edible oil consumption by 10%? He is so concerned about such problems, which otherwise generally people will say, yaar, ye aisa issue hai, ye Pradhan Mantri ji bolna padega is pe. But that is such a serious issue because obesity is the base for a lot of non-communicable diseases. And India today has, a huge number of diabetic cases, heart related issues. So the PM is speaking about that. Fit India, Khelo India. I don't remember when at this scale, university Khelo India Games was happening. So it's not just, through schemes like TOPS, where, Neeraj Chopra or PV Sindhu are being encouraged. But young people who want to get into sports, they are also being encouraged. At large, people are being told to, adopt a more mindful style of eating, do some mobility, do some physical fitness. Because what is the asset of a nation? It is a healthy population. And I think slowly but surely there is a growing awareness about all of these things in public. And, podcasts like what you do and initiatives like Cult, all of this is actually contributing to make the society more healthy.
Yeah, I think हमारे देश के लिए काफ़ी बड़ी opportunity है. As you say, like most of the country is very young. If they understand the value of fitness, healthy lifestyle, mindfulness, and so on, it will play a big role. They can become a long-term asset for the country.
Bilkul.
Or they can go down the path of all this, non-communicable diseases and obesity and so on. And that will be a huge health burden on the country.
Bilkul.
So for us, I think, what you are doing is incredible. I think you should continue your fitness journey. You should talk more and more about it. Encourage, other parliamentarians also to take on healthy lifestyle and, make sure, because these people are role models, right? When you do something, millions of people look at, what you're doing and they want to emulate and copy. And when Prime Minister says something, again, it resonates. So I think it's great that, in this government, this is also a priority, and there's, starting with Prime Minister onwards, is, talked about often. Just I want to come back to, your work in Bangalore, and Karnataka. So last 6 years, what have been your top few priorities? You see it's one thing to become, a member of parliament at the age of 28, but it also comes with huge responsibility, काफी expectations, both. थोड़ा डाउट भी होगा कि this guy is only 28-year-old, क्या करेगा वो? You will also have a think कि मेरे को तो first term में कुछ करके दिखाना है. तो what has captured your attention, and what do you, looking back, where do you think you've made sizable contribution?
One, the role of a member of parliament in our system is primarily focused on your interventions in parliament, in your standing committees in which you are part of, and what inputs and role you can play in legislation making, policy making. Over the last 6 years, I have been one of the most active parliamentarians from Karnataka, representing a city like Bangalore. In terms of utilization of our MP-led funds, of all the MPs in Karnataka, I'm right at the top in terms of utilization of it. Most of our funds have gone into public education and public health causes, because these are two areas where the common, a common man will actually benefit a lot. Whether it is debates in parliament, questions in parliament, participation in standing committees, legislation, special committees on drafting of legislations. For example, I was member of the, joint committee that was looking into drafting of the digital data protection bill for the country. I was also part of the JPC on WAQF. So these are some important legislations. One, satisfaction is that this work, because as an MP, you don't have executive powers or the power of the purse to actually say, build a road here or, build some buildings here. It's not an executive role. So this is the core legislative work that you do. Sometimes it is not seen. But in my case, I'm very grateful that it was recognized by a lot of people. I was awarded the Best Debutant Parliamentarian Award by Lokmat Times the last year. And specifically to Bengaluru, my priority has been from the first day we got into office to contribute to Bengaluru's public transport infrastructure. Cities are engines of economic growth. And Bengaluru is one of the most important, energy center for India.
That's right.
But like all other Indian cities, Bengaluru, in fact, in a more acute fashion in compared to others, is facing problems of traffic jams, urban congestion, infrastructure deficit, etc. So the effort has been to get big infrastructure projects specifically focused on public transport, like metro, like a suburban rail, sanctioned to Bengaluru. Today, Bengaluru has 78 kilometers of metro operational. This August 10th, Prime Minister Modi is coming to Bengaluru to inaugurate the yellow line of Bengaluru Metro, which will connect RV Road to Electronic City, which will, this 19-kilometer stretch will add another 8 lakh ridership to Bengaluru's, metro hub. I also got a few thousand plus electric buses commissioned to Bengaluru under various central government schemes to increase the fleet size of BMTC in Bengaluru. This is one area of, focus that was there. Then public health, like I said, is a very core area of concern. I'm very happy to say, Mukesh, that my constituency, Bengaluru South, has the largest number of Jan Aushadhi Kendras in the country. Jan Aushadhi Kendras are a special initiative of PM Modi where you get generic medicines at close to 70 to 80% less prices than your other medicinal stores. So what costs 100 rupees, outside, you will get here at 30 or even 20 rupees. So we have close to 140 Janaushadhi Kendras in the country. The 100th one was actually inaugurated virtually by PM. Every year, literally crores of rupees is saved by people of my constituency in, which otherwise they would have expended in purchasing medicines otherwise. I also seen that, the role of a public representative, especially in a city, a country like ours, is also where, have to stand and give voice to the voiceless. There were cooperative banks in the constituency which went through big frauds. Thousands of crores were swindled by the promoters. And more than 25,000-30,000 depositors, most of them senior citizens, they were left without their life savings and on the streets. So I helped to, advocate insurance, reforms for them, got 5 lakh rupees each for all of them. Close to 1,000 crores worth money was given to them as compensation through deposit insurance guarantee schemes. They got some, strength back. Some builders had swindled money from people, taken off and, were about to flee the country, caught hold of them, made sure that we got through, a fund called Swami Fund, 1,000+ crores to build these flats. So more than 3,000 people in my constituency, we built flats in about 2,000 in about 2 years' time, gave them occupation certificates. I can list on and on. During COVID, we did so much work, from home delivery of medicines to bringing in technology to allocate transparency of beds in the city. Every day is an opportunity to serve people. We have tried to solve, people come to you with all kinds of problems. There is garbage in, an empty site next to my house, to stray dog menace, to, visa or consular challenges, to somebody needs, a startup needs some, grants from one of the DST schemes. So this is a wide range of work. We have done all of these things, trying to be available to people every single day with as much commitment as possible.
So, इसके लिए method क्या है? Because these, as you're saying, it sounds like, variety of issues. I think whenever I come and I've seen you in your office, there are always 100 people, waiting outside with, variety of requests, demand, and so on. इस पूरे को manage करने के लिए, it's not easy. Like, what does your system look like to keep track of everything? Follow up, close the loop with people, and so on. Do you have a organized office? Do you use a lot of technology? कैसे करते हैं आप?
दोनों है. I'm extremely proud of the young team that I have in my office. I think I'm the oldest in the office, so everyone else is extremely young. Some are still in their early 20s, 22, 23, just out of college, 6 months. They work with so much dedication and sincerity.
Before you continue, आप कैसे हायर करते हो? कुछ वो स्पेसिफिक चीज देखते हैं उनके अंदर कि for someone 22-year-old, how does a person qualify to be in your office?
We have an internship mechanism. I also run this project called Youth Can Lead in the office, which is like a leadership training program that we do for a 30 days period. So the ones who actually pass out of it in a committed fashion, who would have shown initiative and leadership in that program, we also ask them if they're interested to come and join the office. In fact, other than 1 or 2 in our office today, most of the office team are people who came as interns, who came, to do a 1 week or a 10-day or a 15-day internship or a volunteer initiative, and then they have joined. So many times, Mukesh, I have, being a young person myself, I always feel that we somehow confuse maturity and deliverables with age. And this ageism is very unfair. But I think it has also done India, because of this culture, I have seen so many times, especially, because I'm a lawyer by training and profession, and in my earlier avatar as a full-time lawyer, I would see so many young advocates. We would try to look old. You know, I would ask somebody, why are you putting on some weight?
Yeah.
He would say, no, I want to be taken a little seriously in court. And, and one or two of our friends who would have one or two, gray hairs here, he would say, yaar, I want a little more gray hair. Why? You are a little older, then you want to cover up your grays. When you are young, you want grays because you say, that's the way to be taken seriously. I have seen so many wanting to wear glasses, spectacles, just because they say, no, we'll be taken seriously.
Yeah.
I don't think it is right to connect your age with your ability, your maturity, and what you can deliver. The example is my young team in office. The system we have in place is, we have, people who look after hospital-related issues, people who look after police and local corporation and other local administration issues. Then we have a Delhi team which, looks after work with ministries in Delhi. Then we have a young team that works with, parliamentary questions, drafting of private member legislations, inputs for standing committee meetings, doing research for all of these things. That's another young team that does it. We have also, developed a in-house CRM in the office. So, like you said, if there's a complaint that comes, it is fed into the office system. Then, we all monitor on whether that loop is closed or not. So there is also a healthy mix of technology. There is also a very motivated, young, committed team that actually sees this as a platform to actually make a difference in people's lives. I think it's a combination of both. But the takeaway is this, you may have great technology, you may build all of these wonderful platforms and software, but you need a motivated team.
Of course.
That is
right.
That is actually, the key difference.
Yeah.
It's hard. I get irritated sometimes because so many phone calls in a day.
Yeah.
But I see my team members, they may have attended 250 to 300 phone calls in a day. And not everybody who calls you talks to you in the same way. Some talk to you in a very arrogant fashion. Some talk to you in a entitled fashion. Some are good. But you realize that you are here in public service.
Yeah.
So you can't always, expect the customer to be always, nice.
Right.
So I have seen my office people answer calls at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the night.
Yeah.
Some accident somewhere. Some urgent hospitalization need for some patient from Bihar or Jharkhand or West Bengal in Imhans.
Yeah.
At 3 in the night, they have answered those calls and tried to be there.
Right.
I think that also gives me a lot of motivation.
That's outstanding. And hopefully, it's also maybe, both a example and inspiration for, how office of a member of parliament can be. It's basically you're describing that's you're saying, public service, and there is a whole organized system. A lot of people want to reach out to you, rightly so, because you are their elected representative. They have very high expectation, but also just a lot of work and a lot of open threads. So like with a younger team,
and I think,
system.
there is also need for something like a startup culture. That is something that is very visible in our office. It's not like, everyone has a specified role, but because it's a small but very, demanding work.
Yeah.
So you need to be agile to do all kinds of work.
Yeah.
Today you are doing, event management because we organize some events. Then, tomorrow the same guy is also here at the mic doing some, comparing for the event.
Yeah.
The third day is, guest coordination. The fourth day he is talking to ambassadors and consulates and, people trying to do, that level of work. The fourth day, you're doing some research for some parliamentary question. So one thing that I can tell is all those young people who joined our office within a year, all of them come and tell me that their life has changed. Because the kind of exposure they got, the opportunities they got to see the world, that has changed them.
Yeah.
Also, Mukesh, sometimes I feel, in our schools, colleges, families, we all live in certain bubbles. A bubble of our own comfort.
Correct.
We would not have seen world outside of it.
Yeah.
आप देखो अपना दोस्त एक ही जैसे होते हैं. They all come in the same socio-economic background. हम एक ही जैसे movies देखते हैं, एक ही taste होते हैं. So we kind of live in, like a tunnel. You will not have a broader exposure.
Yeah.
But when you actually, try to do things, work like this, whether in a public office or in a startup, all of these, then especially in works like ours, your life, your worldview changes, because you have a pensioner who will come to your office with his own problems.
Yeah.
You will have somebody, a table tennis talent, young guy, in 5th standard or 6th standard kid. Parents have encouraged as much as they could, but now to go to the next level, she has come for some help for you. Then somebody is stuck in, Bangladesh or Burma, gone there to do some business, got stuck. Now you have to rescue them.
Right.
Students who are caught in Ukraine, we try to help. So you get to see a 360-degree view of the society, the world, and everybody who comes to you comes with a problem.
Correct.
So you are always in a crisis management mode. So you do this for a year, then I think it kind of steals you up.
Right.
And you are like, okay, bring on those challenges, bring on those, problems, let us solve them.
No, it's quite commendable. Then you're creating opportunity for youngsters to be able to get exposed to all this, the challenges of life so early on. And you're right, to be able to deal with those and to survive and grow in that, I think will do these people world of service. And the other thing is great, that you are able to share your day-to-day in so much detail, because, बाहर से लगता है कि, politics is about winning election, big speeches, few topics that are on everyone's mind. But I think what you are also highlighting is there is, variety of work on a daily basis that a representative elected needs to attend to and need to have a system around it, because, people depend on that. And look, and you can be very good at it or not good at it, depends on how much effort you put in. It's not by default, like just because I'm an elected representative, I'm on the money every day. It's just like, I think the words you use, startups and administration and system, which is a very important part of being an effective MP. Just let's come back to, you briefly alluded to metro and hopefully, the role it is already doing is going to do to ease the burden on our, congested roads. But in general, if you look at the broader drift, you zoom out and look at whether Bangalore or any other city over the last 10, 20 years, on the whole, things are getting, more and more challenging. Traffic, is more congested. It takes more time to go from one place to other. There are, the roads are not able to keep up even, from the upkeep point of view, air quality index. Somewhere or leave something to be wanting, that, we are obviously very proud of where the country is going. And most of us choose to live in the city because that's where all the opportunities are, all the networks are, and so on. But the quality of life, it's a big open challenge for the country. तो उसके लिए आप कैसे सोच रहे हैं near future में क्या initiatives और कैसे, like, it seems it's one of those very hard problem. I don't think कोई easy solution है, but what's your thought process around this?
Mukesh, you touched a very interesting and very important subject that concerns so many millions of Indians today, and something that will be very important in the years to come. India is urbanizing at a rapid pace.
Yes.
We are the fastest urbanizing country in the world. And by 2030, we will have more Indians living in urban areas than in rural areas.
By 2030?
By 2030,
It's coming.
in just 5 years. And because the migration is at that pace. So if you look at all of our cities, we have the challenges that you mentioned. And I think one of the problems, one of the reasons for this is because over the last so many decades as an independent country, we did not give the due attention that we had to give for urbanization, cities, and urban infrastructure, urban governance. Because we thought, India is a rural country, rural economy, and most of our political narratives, political capital, everything was invested most around that. But now it has to change. And the 2026 census and the delimitation that will ensue will actually reflect this changed demography in the political circle also. So the next elections, you will have more number of MPs and MLAs who will represent urban areas than rural areas, which will translate into more political capital, political issues centered around urban areas, which is a good thing. Second, the biggest neglect that has happened is the tier 3 of the country's governance structure. Our municipal corporations. we both are citizens of Bangalore. We don't have a corporation in existence in Bengaluru in last 5 years. Bengaluru is a city of close to 1.3 crore people. But in the last 5 years, we don't have elections. We don't have a corporation. We don't have a mayor. Bengaluru is being run by 2 bureaucrats, the commissioner and the administrator. How can 2 people attend to all the problems of Bengaluru, a city of 1.2 crore people? The same is the case with Mumbai. Elections have not happened on time. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody in Uttar Pradesh. They said they have the same challenges. So it's a pan-India problem where elections to the third tier, because unlike the constitutional mandate where केंद्र सरकार के लिए और प्रदेश सरकार के लिए 5 साल में elections करना 100% करना ही पड़ेगा, that is not there in the case of these. There's a loophole. तो ये may there's a 74th amendment which says elections may happen once in 5 years. ये may नहीं होने, shall होना चाहिए. So one, I think we must have a mandate that you must compulsorily have regular elections to the municipal bodies. क्योंकि आपके जो छोटे छोटे issues है ना, बिजली हो, यहाँ के सड़कें हो, आपके potholes हो, your clean streets, all of these are not issues that should come to the MP. It should not come to the union government. It should actually be dealt with by the corporation. So I think that is something that needs to be fixed. 2, most of the top cities in the world, whether it is Tokyo, whether it is New York, whether it is London, all of them have a powerful, directly elected mayor.
Right.
Here we don't have that because state governments do not empower the important cities because they feel politically that if there's an empowered mayor, it kind of, diminishes the political clout of the CM and the, deputy chief minister or whoever, right? But unless you have an accountable elected person, a mayor who is elected by the people for a good term, you tell me Bangalore earlier had, when we had 5 years ago corporation, the term of a mayor for Bangalore was 1 year. Now, what can anybody do in 1 year? Now, you take out the public holidays, you take out Sundays. Bangalore has 198 wards. Even if the mayor were to visit 1 ward per day, he will still have, some wards remaining. So, we have put such, bad governance structures, ineffective governance structures in place. So, I think first we need to fix that as the root problem. Second, take for an example city like Bangalore. We have so much of traffic congestion, urban planning. All of this is a problem. But it will shock you, Mukesh, to know that the BBMP does not have a cadre of traffic engineers and urban planners to plan urbanization and traffic for this city. So how is a flyover or how is a hump etc. planned, a road breaker planned? I'll tell you how it is done in such an ad hoc manner. For example, there is a cafe, okay, and suddenly it becomes popular. Rameshwaram ho gaya, jo bhi ho gaya, okay. Then somebody there, locally tells, please get a road breaker here, speed breaker here, because there is so much of traffic congestion. He speaks to the local cops. So the sub-inspector or somebody comes and he says, local corporator or MLA, somebody says, yeah, put a hump here, a speed breaker. Then they put a speed breaker. There is no analysis done on whether a speed breaker is actually needed. Traffic volume uspe kaise impact hoga. Then because of that, what will happen is 1 kilometer before or 1 kilometer after that, there will be a traffic pileup. Now we are planning, some double-decker flyovers. This is a problem we are facing in the constituency right now. One group wants the flyover to end here, the other wants to end it in another place. The challenge is if you end it here, there is going to be traffic block here. If you end it there, it is going to be another mess there. Who does all of this planning? You need a structured management, traffic engineering department, which is simply non-existent. Then, you have these BMTC buses. I'll give you small examples of how people are facing these challenges. BMTC buses. Some new buses, they have got a good thing. They have, these all-access doors where even disabled people can take their wheelchairs and go inside, which is a good thing. But you have these buses, but you don't have bus stops which can be accessed by wheelchair dependent people.
Right.
There are some bus stops where buses don't even stop because the bus stop is built by another agency and the bus is run by another agency.
Yeah.
So I think, there is need for coordination of planning and execution by same agencies. That is another one.
Right.
Then how do we address traffic? The only way, proven way all over the world
Public transport.
is public transport. But what are we doing? All over the, city here in Bangalore, particularly, we are building more and more roads. And this is a concept called induced demand. You build more roads, you're inducing more private vehicles to come and occupy that. More roads, whether it is flyovers, whether it is, tunnel roads, none of this is going to solve traffic.
Yeah.
World over countries have done this and have failed at it. The only solution is to reduce number of private vehicles on road and make public transport more comfortable, reliable and accessible.
Yeah.
So what Bengaluru needs or any other Indian city needs is a combination of the first 500 meters where you have good walkable pedestrian walkways, footpaths, or places where you can use, electric two-wheelers or, small Yulu type bikes and reach to either a tram station or a pre-metro service or a bus station, which will take you to the next 2 kilometers or 3 kilometers journey. And if you want to go a long distance, then you must be having access to metro. The idea is the combination of walk, cycle, especially in a city like Bengaluru, which has such a wonderful climate through the year to allow for active mobility, and small size buses, trams, electric vehicles, and a dense metro network, ideally from whichever point you are standing, in about 10 minutes walk, you must be able to reach a metro station.
तो इन सब अगले 4-5 साल में चेंज होगा काफी. लाइक इफ लेट्स से we meet again, we'll meet before, but 4-5 साल का तो फिर से पॉडकास्ट शूट कर रहे होंगे. We'll be able to say कि पिछले 5 साल में हमने काफी प्रोग्रेस कर ली. एटलीस्ट 3 प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. थोड़ा कंजेशन कम हो गया है. कि आर यू ऑप्टिमिस्टिक यू हैव line of sight to enough policies and interventions?
Absolutely. I'm very optimistic that things are changing and things will change and all of us have to do it. And again, it is not just the role of public representatives or just the government. Public also should realize that public transport is the only solution. So people come to us and say there is a traffic jam here, why don't you widen the road? So the ask should not be to widen the road. The ask should be, why don't you give us a tram here? Why don't you give us a more buses here? Why don't you, give us more mass rapid transport options here? So I think that education from the public is required. I also feel one other aspect where work needs to be done is holding the executive accountable. For example, Mukesh, in Bengaluru, there are 20 plus projects, flyovers, underpasses, which are delayed from 5 years, 6 years, 7 years.
Kodmangala half
that Ijipura flyover.
It's eyesore.
Yes, it's 8.5 years to do a 2-kilometer flyover. And the state government says they want to build 100 kilometers of more flyover. I said in a press conference recently that if you build it in the pace of Ijipura, you will need 800 years to complete, this 100-kilometer flyover. I was very seriously wanting to write to the Archaeological Survey of India recently to declare this Ijipura flyover as a, ancient monument. Because in 8.5 years, you have not been able to complete 2.5 kilometers of flyover. So I think the contractors, the officers who are in charge of execution of these things, they must also be held accountable. That's the only way that, things will improve.
So Bangalore, this is one challenge, of in some ways overpopulation, like a lot of people coming here, infrastructure challenges and so on. Other challenge that's, kind of, which was until recently was an asset, Bangalore has taken the mantle for this whole, IT revolution in the country, starting with the Infosys and Wipro and even TCS and many other companies, which has been a kind of crown jewel of Indian IT service export, and the next generation of startup ecosystem got developed in Bangalore over the last 15-20 years that other cities have taken inspiration from. It's but with the AI continue to get better and better, there is a huge threat now looming over India. So IT service industry. There are also questions about are we truly innovative in AI field? Are we contributing to this AI revolution? Are going to be users of technology developed elsewhere? How much are you thinking about this? Where it is on your roadmap of things to pay attention to among every all the everyday thing? But it seems like it's a look, AI is also becoming a huge geopolitical issue. We are seeing daily tweets literally. Like a lot of global politics is about control of deep tech and technology, and which played a role in the recent war, but in future is going to be probably even more significant. So how do you think about these things?
Well, AI is changing and transforming the world at a pace that none of us are ready for. It is not just a challenge in India; it's a challenge for all jurisdictions. Even recently, I just returned from a multi-country delegation tour, and in all of these countries that we visited, including in United States, policymakers are actually grappling with this question of how to regulate AI, because it's what you will call a complex adaptive system. So it keeps evolving and changing at such rapid pace that you are always playing catch up. The implications are many. One is the nature of the technology itself and how it will evolve. Two, what are going to be the socio-economic implications of this? For example, there are two things that I am already noticing. One, the quantum of fresh hiring that companies like Wipro, TCS, etc. are doing is seeing a dip. Because many of these, manual testing, this, that, etc., the small, work, that is now being replaced by AI. Just 2 days ago, we were reading this news article on how TCS is, planning to lay off about 12,000 employees, which is just the beginning. Though, it is not directly acknowledged in that article that it is because of AI, but everything points to that. And especially in a city like Bangalore, which has such a large number of population, people working in the IT services sector, this is surely a area of concern. Now, third, it also poses challenges on how we should approach education and continuous skilling of our employees. Because gone are those days when one set of degrees, one set of skill sets could sail you through for 40 years of your career. So you have to be nimble, you have to be flexible, and you have to always keep learning. There's no other shortcut than this in an area of this. Fourth, is this going to be a technology that will replace, or is it going to assist? There is still, the world is debating. Just yesterday I was reading this book called AI Snake Oil, which is, a book that debates on all of these things. There is also a very interesting paper on this subject by the Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister. I would, urge your viewers to also read it. It again discusses what models should India follow. Should we follow the self-regulation and completely open model of the US? Should we think of the more laissez-faire model of the UK? Or should we think of, the EU model, which is let us see and address the risk type of a model? Because we cannot definitely, go to the complete state control model of what China is doing. So these are all different models in the world. I think given India's developmental journey and the socio-economic challenges that we have, where close to 200 million young people will be entering the workforce, you also cannot have a technology so disruptive that it will not have jobs for these young people at all. It will then pose a very big social challenge for the country.
From my vantage point, I feel, I don't know, at least in the public discourse, it's not getting enough attention. Like I've been watching, the even recent parliament debates with a lot of interest, and a lot of right issues are debated, which is great. But deep tech and AI also needs like a lot more attention, because this is big threat and big opportunity is really looming large.
Correct.
And it's going to change things, quite dramatically.
Absolutely. But there are two things, at least from the government level. Very recently, PM had, there was a AI international conference that happened here at Bharat Mantapam, and PM made a very, insightful speech about regulation and AI. Much later, in France, there was also a AI summit, as India was a co-chair of that thing, and the PM was there. So I think at the highest levels of the government, there is some thinking on regulation, AI as a challenge, etc. But I agree that at a larger political ecosystem level, more discussion on this needs to be done, because it's not just Bengaluru that will be affected because of this. Even the young person in Bihar today, who has just gotten out of college, and perhaps is looking at going to Pune or Bangalore or Delhi for a job opportunity, and hopes that that will lead him to social mobility, even he will be affected. And the impact is going to be cross-sectoral. So I think a very concerted whole of government thinking on the impact of AI needs to be done. And again, I would say it is not just at the government level, it should be at the level of the society also.
100%, absolutely. And look, this is one axis, which is regulation and job impact and so on. How do we co-live with this technology? But other aspect is also just the innovation ecosystem of the country. How deeply we are investing into R&D.
Absolutely.
Right? What is the original IP we are creating? Because, to be a product nation, to be able to export, products which are globally competitive and differentiated, the entire research ecosystem, it's probably another area which needs, more attention.
Mukesh, you raised a very important point when it came to research, development, science and technology. I think for so many decades, it did not deserve the kind of attention and importance it did. But the last few years, I can tell you there have been 2 or 3 major initiatives that is actually pushing the country in this direction. One is the establishment of the National Research Foundation and the 50,000 crore grant that was given to it. 2, just about 2 weeks ago, a 50,000 crore rupees deep tech fund of funds was announced, which will be giving grants to companies that are actually working in this space. Third, initiatives like, quantum mission, initiatives like the green hydrogen mission, these are also, taking shape. But I would say that even more needs to be done, because these are sectors that will have multiplier effect. One achievement here, or if we lag here, is going to have impact in multiple sectors. So more needs to be done. And also the structure of delivering these grants and deploying these funds, this also needs to be rethought, because that is where government giving a 50,000 rupee grant is one, 50,000 crore rupee grant is one step. But if you are having too much of bureaucracy and red tapeism in deployment of these grants, then again the problem is not going to be solved. So you must have officers who are good, who understand these domains, and who will be protected for actually taking action in good faith. So if somebody, a young startup comes, presents a great idea, they must be empowered to actually take a bet and deploy that grant. If they feel that, after 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, CVC or CAG or CBI or somebody is going to come behind them, then they will not be confident enough to actually make these decisions. So I think in addition to this making these grants available, which is a fantastic thing, the structure of deployment of these grants is also something that we need to focus on. And I think we have spoken a lot about industry and university collaborations, but I am on the board of the governing council of IISc. We are here in Bangalore, and I still feel that we have not done enough in terms of what IISc can do to actually tap the deep tech industries of Bangalore, the startups of Bangalore. I still see there is a lot of inertia, there's a lot of yesteryear thinking, outdated thinking. So I think more aggression, more fire in the belly, more hunger to actually be on top of this product development market, at the cutting edge of the development cycles of these things. That is something that as a culture we need to understand, whether it is at the university levels or premium national institutes like IISCs, most of these technologies, they're extremely capital intensive.
Yes.
So it has to be government anchored.
Yes.
Private capital, private VCs can only play a supplementing role,
That's right.
but the government should actually lead the way, because it is long gestation periods,
That's
high risk,
Mhm.
and high capital.
No, that's great. I'm very happy to hear your thoughts on this, Tejasvi, and hopefully, you are within the government, you are able to also influence and translate, especially some of these ideas around, cutting down bureaucracy, speed, risk-taking, initiative, and so on, so that people are also bolder, take bets and okay with, sometimes things will work, sometimes things will not work. But I think it's a very critical topic for the country. I know you have to run also. So on the closing note, I want to zoom out and, there's one thing that, Prime Minister Modi has done is this, painted this very clear vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. Now, as a young MP, for you, what does that vision mean to you? How do you plan to contribute towards that? Because it's also very aspirational. Look, India, we have done well. There's no question about it. We have lots of challenges. But this, vision of Viksit Bharat, the bar is very
Yes.
high. How do we get there and how will you contribute to that?
Well, I think the fact that the country is dreaming of this as a big,
Yeah.
achievable target is an inspiration for generations. One mistake that India has done over the last 70 years is our vision has only been 5 years, election to election.
Yeah.
Whereas compare it to countries like China, they have like a
100 years.
100-year marathon,
Yeah.
right? There's a book on that. Look at what Singapore did. I still remember, when I was in high school, this book called From Third World to First by Lee Kuan Yew's autobiography inspired me so deeply.
Yeah.
It again, he spoke of, saying that, next 50 years in this place, which is, a shanty today, there will be high-rise buildings and this will be the shining city in the world.
Yeah.
This is the vision he gave. I think for the first time after a very long, centuries of neglect and colonization, etc., we've got a prime minister who actually gave us this vision that 2047, we must make India a Viksit Bharat, a developed India.
Yeah.
Now, what would that mean in translatable terms? For a young guy in his 20s in, say, today's Bihar or Jharkhand, he must be able to dream of a quality of life that a privileged guy in South Bombay or South Delhi or Bangalore can get.
Yeah.
And equitable access to opportunities. One. Two, I think in terms of quality of life for people living in our cities, people living in our villages, they must have access to the basics, which in many other countries are taken for granted. Clean roads, clean air, good public transport. Because the government, its primary job is to create this environment to facilitate human ingenuity and development to blossom.
Yeah.
I think that is second, that must be done. Third, especially in areas of food security, areas of energy and defense, India must be self-reliant.
Yes.
In 1960s, India was living what was then called ship to mouth. We were, getting food grains from abroad, from United States and others. But in just 30 years, 40 years, India achieved not just self-sufficiency, but India is a net exporter of agriculture. But our population in the coming years will also stabilize. It will also, come down because of the advancement in economics and education, etc. But we must also, because India is vantagely placed where you can grow anything throughout the country through the year. It can be the rice bowl or the agricultural bowl for the whole world. So that is one area where we need to not just maintain our self-sufficiency, but also be the the supplier for the world. The area of big challenge for India would be our energy. As and when we are growing and developing, the demand for energy will increase. Already, India's per capita energy consumption is on the high. Because we are a net importer of crude oil and non-renewable sources of energy. India has to double down on renewable and atomic-based energy. And I think the ambitious plan that the PM has rolled out through Bharat small scale reactors is something that is going to transform the energy space. That is also an area where India can offer a lot, whether it is cutting-edge technologies in green hydrogen, whether it is our ability to harness solar energy better, wind energy better. India has so much potential there. And the third, of course, is our nascent but potentially game-changing defense sector. Looking at the geopolitical changes of how geopolitical relationships are changing every day, India has to have a strong Atmanirbhar defense backbone. We have already seen some green shoots where India's defense equipment is now being purchased by many other countries, including countries like Philippines, etc. But this is just the beginning. And what this is also going to do, it is going to reinvigorate creation of a strong military industrial complex in India, which will also strengthen our manufacturing. I think in addition to this, the point that you mentioned again about emerging technologies, deep tech, and where India will be in that. So I think a lot more effort needs to be done in qualitative and quantitative strengthening of our human resource, which means more deployment of energy, money, resources in our education system, especially at a time when artificial intelligence is challenging the traditional modes and methods of knowledge transition and how brick and mortar schools will perform. Perhaps this is the first time a generation is in school without knowing what they're training for. What kind of jobs will be available by the time they pass out. So I think at least our generation and the generation that immediately precedes us, we have a unique opportunity to contribute to not just making of this Viksit Bharat, but to also realize it in our own lifetimes.
No, that's amazing. Look, as a country, we have a very clear vision, something to aspire for. I think a lot of optimism. We obviously have the power of the youth that you obviously represent. We have 200, 250 million people who are just going to enter the workforce in near future. Few areas of which all you touched upon. On the deep tech, innovation, maybe faster pace of reform and just unlocking the potential that's there in the country. I think there's obviously a lot to look forward to. I think, I want to again acknowledge Tejasvi, you are, huge inspiration. I think what you have done at such a young age, I think it is inspiring a lot of people. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I think you are very well read, very well informed, and, your passion and courage of conviction, just comes through in everything, you articulate. So, and you're obviously very organized, very fit, so I think it's a very, good template for what a public representative can be. So please keep up good work. I look forward to,
so much, Mukesh. Wish you the very best. Like I said, I will repeat that again. India needs thousands and lakhs of young entrepreneurs and leaders like you. That's the only way economy will benefit. That's the only way when the largest number of people can be lifted to middle level income and upper middle class levels, and prosperity can be created in the country. Technology, innovation, products, all of this can happen only when we have self-driven people, business leaders like you. So wishing you the very best.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. At Sparx, we aim to bring to you stories of exponential impact. We share in-depth analysis of what goes behind success stories. If you find our conversations interesting, you can join us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also listen to Sparx on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other audio platform of your choice. If you have any suggestions on who we should invite or what topics we need to cover, just let us know in the comments. We are always listening, looking for ways to improve, and keep getting better as we go along.